Hello dear students. Today we are going to start with next chapter of physical chemistry, electrochemistry. This is a chapter which requires brushing up of redox concepts from your class 11th. This is one of the main chapter of physical chemistry from which you can get a 3-mark question or 5-mark question. From this chapter, numericals are asked. Some give reason questions are asked, that is some theoretical portions, the statement of the laws, some graph based questions. So this is the pattern of the question which is asked from this chapter. Basically, what do we mean by electrochemistry? As the name indicates, it is talking about two types of energies. One is electrical energy and another is chemical energy. So here we are discussing the interconversion from electrical to chemical as well as chemical to electrical. But these processes must involve certain spontaneous redox reactions. So redox concepts are going to play a big role in this chapter. So basically, what is electrochemistry? It is the branch of chemistry which deals with the production of electricity from energy released during spontaneous chemical reactions. Now, which are these reactions? These are redox reactions. And use of electrical energy to bring about non-spontaneous chemical reaction. That means overall we are talking about the conversion of electrical to chemical or chemical to electrical. Now the question is, there must be any device which we have to use for the conversion of either electrical to chemical or chemical to electrical energy. So the device which is used for this conversion is called as cell. So cell is a device which is used for conversion of either electrical to chemical or chemical to electrical energy. So overall we are talking about the conversion of chemical energy to electrical or the conversion of electrical energy to chemical. Now the question is, are we using the same type of cell for both the conversions? No. For the conversion of chemical to electrical energy, we are using cell called as electrochemical cell. Whereas for conversion of electrical to chemical cell, we use electrolytic cell. It's very easy to remember how the conversion takes place. In electrochemical, it is the conversion of chemical energy to electrical energy. So obviously in electrolytic, it will be a vice versa thing. The examples of electrochemical cells are like dry cell, galvanic cell, etc. Whereas the example of electrolytic cell, generally these occur by using the process of electrolysis. In today's video, we are going to study electrochemical cells. Electrochemical cells are also called as galvanic cells or voltaic cells, and they help us to convert chemical energy to electrical energy. So here we are going to study the working of one of the electrochemical cell, Daniell cell. So this cell is Daniell cell. For carrying out the conversion of chemical energy to electrical energy, we need two types of beakers and they are called as half cell. Half cell 1, half cell 2. Now these containers contain one metallic rod dipped in them called as electrode. Now this electrode is a metal rod and that is dipped in electrolyte. This electrolyte is generally the aqueous salt solution of the same electrode. Now these electrodes can be either inert or they may take part in the reaction. In Daniell cell, one electrode is made up of zinc and another electrode is made up of copper, and therefore Daniell cell is also called as zinc copper cell. So this half cell contains copper rod as electrode and dipped in 1 molar copper sulfate solution which act as an electrolyte. Whereas the another electrode, it is zinc rod and it is dipped in 1 molar zinc sulfate solution. These two half cells, they are connected by an instrument called as a salt bridge. About salt bridge we'll be discussing later in the same part of the video. Both these beakers or both these half cells are connected externally by using key, and an ammeter is connected to it so as to know the flow of the electrons. Now what happens when we switch on the key? When we switch on the key, some of zinc atoms from zinc rod, they dissolve in zinc sulfate solution. As a result, they release electrons, and the electrons which are released, they will flow from zinc to copper. So this direction is showing flow of electrons. Now when these electrons reach to copper rod, copper 2 plus, which is present in electrolyte in the form of copper sulfate, they will accept these electrons from here and therefore they will get deposited on the copper rod in the form of copper metal. As the flow of electron is from zinc to copper, we say the conventional flow of current will be in the opposite direction. It will be from copper to zinc. What will be the overall impact on the electrode or on the electrolyte? Now as you have seen here, zinc is losing the electrons and therefore I will say oxidation is taking place here, and hence this cell is called as oxidation half cell. Whereas copper here is accepting the electron, and from our 11th class knowledge we know the gain of electron is reduction, the loss of electron is oxidation. Since here there is a gain of electron, it will be called as reduction half cell. So I will say any electrochemical cell or galvanic cell is made up of two half cell, oxidation half cell and reduction half cell. Conventionally, where the oxidation take place, that is considered as anode, and where the reduction take place, that is considered as cathode. So anode here, it is marked as negatively charged electrode, and cathode here is marked as a positively charged electrode. Now as the reaction proceeds, slowly the zinc is dissolving in zinc sulfate as zinc cation and losing the electrons. The electrons flow from zinc to copper. These electrons are accepted by copper ions present in copper sulfate, and copper gets deposited as metallic form on the copper rod. So as the reaction proceeds, I will say zinc rod loses weight and secondly the concentration of zinc 2 plus in electrolyte will increase as more and more zinc ions will be released in the solution. On the other hand, in reduction half cell, copper rod will gain weight and the concentration of copper 2 plus ion will decrease in the solution as they are getting deposited in the form of copper metal on the electrode. So what is the overall summary of this Daniell cell? That we have two half cell, oxidation half cell and reduction half cell. Oxidation occurs at anode where there is a loss of electron. Reduction occurs at cathode where there is a gain of electron. In this case, Daniell cell, the electron flow from zinc to copper, and conventionally the current flows from copper to zinc. As the reaction proceeds, there is a change in the weight of both electrodes and there is a change in the concentration of ions in both the electrolytes. Let us represent all this in the form of reaction. So what happens at anode? At anode, zinc from electrode, and therefore I am writing in S as a subscript, loses electron and goes in the solution aqueous form. Whereas what happens at cathode? At cathode, copper 2 plus, which is present in the form of aqueous solution here, will accept 2 electron and will get converted to copper solid, which will be deposited on the rod. So at anode, oxidation is taking place and at cathode, reduction is taking place. This is the basic of electrochemical cell. Now if I want to consider the net reaction or the overall reaction, net reaction can be calculated by adding these two. So zinc in the solid form plus Cu2 plus from the aqueous solution gives us Zn2 plus aqueous plus copper solid. Mentioning the physical state will be quite important in redox reactions, as it will indicate the change in the physical state as it is indicating the change in oxidation numbers also. So oxidation is a process where there is a loss of electron. Reduction is a process where there is a gain of electron. These reactions are asked as a 3-mark question in your board exam. 1 mark for reaction at anode, 1 mark for reaction at cathode, and 1 mark for the net reaction. So that was all about the Daniell cell. Now we'll discuss what is the salt bridge, what is its importance, and how it helps us to connect the two cells. So what is a salt bridge? Just now we have seen it is an inverted U-shaped tube and its ends are closed with cotton plug or glass wool. Now this inverted U-shaped tube contains some electrolyte in it. What are these electrolytes? These are generally the concentrated salt solution. Salts such as potassium chloride is selected, or potassium nitrite, or ammonium nitrite, etc. But these are mixed in agar-agar gel. Salt bridge helps us to connect two half cells externally. So in one way it helps us to complete the circuit. It avoids direct liquid-liquid junction. Is avoided due to use of the salt bridge, and most importantly it helps us to maintain the neutrality. Now how does it helps to maintain electrical neutrality? We'll again move to Daniell cell diagram. So the salt bridge contains electrolyte, let's say potassium chloride, mixed in agar-agar gel. How does it helps us to maintain the electrical neutrality? Now we know zinc 2 plus is extra in the electrolyte. So Cl minus will diffuse from salt bridge through this cotton plug. It will come into this electrolyte and will neutralize this extra zinc cation. On the other hand, from here the copper ion concentration is decreasing. So sulfate ion is in excess in electrolyte now. So potassium cation from salt bridge will enter into electrolyte through this cotton plug and will help us to neutralize the sulfate ion. In this way, salt bridge helps us to neutralize the excess ions, or we'll say it helps to maintain the electrical neutrality, and therefore the concentration of the electrolyte filled in salt bridge goes on decreasing as the time passes, as the reaction proceeds forward, and therefore the electrolyte filled in salt bridge has to be removed or has to be refilled continuously. Overall EMF developed during the reaction in this cell is 1.1 volt. EMF means electromotive force. Now there are three conditions. Suppose we apply any external potential or any external EMF to this cell. If that external EMF is equal to 1.1 volt, then neither the electrons will flow nor the current will flow, and any chemical reaction will not take place. So we'll say the setup remains as it is. But on the other hand, if E external is less than 1.1 volt, then there is a flow of electron from zinc to copper. Then obviously the current flows from copper to zinc. The zinc dissolves at anode and copper will deposit at cathode. But the E external is greater than 1.1 volt, then reverse condition happens. Electron flow from copper to zinc, therefore the flow of current from zinc to copper, and instead of copper now zinc gets deposited at anode and copper gets dissolved at cathode. Now every time it becomes very difficult to draw such a big diagram of the cell and explain all the things in that, and therefore every electrochemical cell is represented in a particular manner, and so we are going to study representation of a cell. Representation of electrochemical cell. Now there are two parts. One is the left side and another is the right side. So what are the things that are experienced at left side and what are the things that are written at right hand side? So this is the left portion and this will be the right portion. The negative electrode is always represented at left and positive electrode is always represented at right side. That means I will say the anode is represented at left hand side and cathode is represented as right hand side. Sorry, anode at left side and cathode at right side. And we know the electrode is dipped in electrolyte. So here it will be anodic electrolyte. Similarly, cathode is in contact with cathodic electrolyte. But both these are separated by a salt bridge. So this represents salt bridge. As well as anode and anodic electrolyte is represented by a slash. Cathode and cathodic electrolyte are also represented by a slash. We know at anode always the oxidation occurs and at cathode always the reduction occurs. Flow of electron. It will be electron flow will be from anode to cathode and therefore the flow of the current will be in the opposite direction from cathode to anode. Now using all these conventions we will represent the Daniell cell. So how Daniell cell is represented? Right now we have seen that in Daniell cell we are using zinc as a anode, we are using zinc sulfate as an electrolyte, we are using copper as cathode and we are using copper sulfate as an electrolyte. But as I have already told, these are separated by salt bridge and separation between anode and anodic electrolyte, separation between cathode and cathodic electrolyte is shown with the help of a slash. As well as the concentration of electrolyte is mentioned. For example, zinc sulfate we have used 1 molar and copper sulfate we have used 1 molar. Now since in all these the ions play much important role, so electrolyte will be basically shown in the form of ions. So zinc is in contact with zinc ion and which has concentration of 1 molar separated by a salt bridge. Copper as a cathode in contact with copper 2 plus ion and it is 1 molar. EMF is always written on the right side, 1.1 volt. So this is the complete representation of a Daniell cell. Based on this, you can have questions that write the proper representation of the cell, or a representation of the cell will be given to you and you are supposed to identify where oxidation is occurring, where the reduction is occurring. We know left side always oxidation occurs, right side always the reduction occurs. From here also we can identify zinc which is in zero oxidation state getting converted to Zn2 plus, increase in oxidation number, that means oxidation. Here copper from copper 2 plus is getting converted to copper, that is the decrease in oxidation number, means it is a reduction. Increase in oxidation number and decrease in oxidation number. This will represent oxidation reaction and another will obviously represent the reduction reaction. You have to remember these basic concepts throughout this chapter, and these redox concepts will help you to get a command on this chapter. So that's all for the day. In our next video, we'll be discussing about standard electrode potential, how it is calculated and what are its application. Thanks for joining me. Have a nice day.